Hi, I'm Sarah Odendahl, Government Affairs Consultant for the Bend Chamber of Commerce. Thanks so much for tuning in yesterday to our legislative preview. It was such a treat to get to hear from our three elected officials in Central Oregon about what's on tap for them at the 2021 legislative session and what we can expect to come out of Salem in the 160 days that lie ahead. So in order to prepare for the next legislative session, we wanted to give you some tips and tools on how to become an effective advocate. We all know the importance of advocacy, using your voice in the political process, but how can you accomplish that for things that you care about in your business, your community, and in your personal and family life? The most important thing that you can do is get to know your legislator. A lot of people think that the legislative process is closed or it's an exclusive process, and it's quite the opposite. In Oregon, we have a citizen legislature, meaning that most legislators have jobs outside of their job as an elected official. It's technically not a full-time job, although I would argue that it is a full-time commitment, especially during the legislative session. But get to know them. These could be your kid's soccer coach, they could be your real estate agent, they could be somebody that you see at the grocery store or your neighbor. They're just normal people that have been able to become elected to represent the constituents of our community. And they're certainly open to forming relationships with those constituents. So engage with them on social media, invite yourself to their town halls, get engaged with them in a variety of different ways. It's certainly a little bit harder during COVID, but there's a lot of opportunity to get to know them so that when you have a direct ask about a specific policy, you already have that relationship formed. The second way that you can engage in the political process is by engaging with an organization such as the Bend Chamber of Commerce. We have an active advocacy council that meets twice a month during the session. We review bills, we take positions, and we make recommendations about how to strategically engage and use our political capital to support issues that are going to support the mission of the Bend Chamber of Commerce. There's lots of other advocacy-oriented organizations throughout our region and throughout the state. So there's certainly a place for you to engage, whatever your policy passions might be. Another way that you can engage in the process is by writing your elected officials. This could take the form of snail mail, old school, write a letter, handwritten, pop it in the mail. It could also take the form of email. I will say that legislators get a lot of emails. Their inboxes are constantly full, and their limited aides and legislative staff have time to sort through them. So if you do choose to email, make sure it's personalized. Make sure that you say that you're a constituent. If you have a relationship, you can state that. If you are requesting a meeting or a specific ask of that legislator, make sure to be clear. I'd also avoid using form letters. Sometimes the inboxes can get flooded with hundreds of emails that look exactly the same, and that is going to be certainly less meaningful than a personalized note or email that states clearly what your ask is and what you're trying to share with the legislator. Another way to advocate is to provide testimony, and this can certainly be a little bit scarier when we think about it. This year in Salem, we're going to have the opportunity to provide testimony remote from our homes, in front of our computers, and the safety of our home libraries and our offices. And so it certainly will be a little bit easier of a process than traveling over the mountains to get to Salem. But providing testimony is a really great way to be able to engage the entire legislative committee and talk about the priorities that you have. You need to make sure to keep it short and sweet, under 2 minutes, be very clear, be concise, use examples, and be very clear with your goal at the end in terms of what is your ask. Do you want them to support a policy, oppose a policy, or do you propose an amendment to a policy? These are all things that the Bend Chamber and our Advocacy Council, as well as any other organization that focuses on advocacy, works with our members on how to prepare testimony and how to deliver testimony. And last but not least, make sure that you're using data in that testimony or in your letters that you're writing. It's really important to use supported facts. You can use citations if you so choose. I certainly wouldn't go so far as to provide a 20-page dialogue to somebody because they're really not going to have a chance to take a look at everything. But using data, being clear, being concise, and keeping your message simple is something that's a really important tool. So hopefully these are some great tools for you to have in your toolbox as you become an advocate for things that you care about. The Ben Chamber is absolutely committed to our advocacy program and making sure that we're representing all of our members as we embark upon the 2021 session. So thanks so much for taking the time to watch this. If you have any questions or want to engage or get more information about the advocacy efforts at the Ben Chamber, please feel free to reach out. We're always here and we're always listening. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.